Welcome to Elevate the Game, where DFW's top leaders drop gems on success, strategy, and legacy with your hosts, George Abreu and Eric Badiwala. Let's get into it.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to Elevate the Game podcast, where every week we're going to have different guests from all walks of life and all different types of businesses. And the goal here is to deliver value so that you can take that in your either personal life or business life, and hopefully grow yourself. So we like to have players on this podcast, and we have a very big player on our podcast today, and excited to have Eddie DeCurtis here with us. He's a leader in the technology and digital security space. He's the co-founder and CEO of Shush Inc. So we're going to get to know Eddie a little bit about what he's doing, and what types of challenges and accomplishments he's facing and overcoming in his space. So Eddie, welcome, man. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you, Eric.
Yeah, likewise, man. So I guess, Eddie, we'll just do this kind of casually and just have a conversation like if we were hanging out at the bar having a drink.
Sure.
So what? Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and family life.
Yes.
You maybe jump into the company a little bit about Shush Inc.
No, it's great. So let's see. I grew up in New York City, right? Spent like 29 years there. Moved to Dallas, Texas. My company at the time moved me here and stayed. I actually been in Dallas as of January 15th of next year. I would be in Dallas longer than I lived in New York, and I never lost my New York accent.
Yeah, I can hear it.
I know it's unique. It's charming. I like to say. Married, kids, the whole deal. My kids are old and now off on doing their own thing. I'm blessed. I have some very talented children. My daughter's going to med school. My son has a degree in aerospace. My daughter wants to be a neurosurgeon. So I have a brain surgeon and a rocket scientist, right?
You got some good genes, man.
No. It all comes from the wife, not me. All comes from the wife. And my oldest son is in the film industry, still lives in New York, done some major motion pictures. One of the big things he did was the TV show Fallout. So everything you've seen on screen, that's my son. My son does all the sets, right? So
nice.
Very, very proud dad. So I've been in wireless for over 30 years, and wireless technology, forefront in messaging, helped everything that people are using today. I had my hand in some way, shape, or form. Kind of old school guy. I was the CEO of, I was the regional CEO. I keep trying to promote myself, but I was the regional CEO for a mobile identity company. They were buying the data information from the mobile network operators around the world. And when I was running the two regions, Asia Pacific and Americas, as I was talking to these mobile operators out there, they were all saying they have a challenge, right? They have a problem. They wanted to do this. They wanted to expose their third-party or customer information to third parties for the protection of anti-fraud and security and all that. But they had a problem. They didn't have a platform. They don't know how to do it. They have no money. I mean, the industry spent billions, and I'm talking hundreds of billions of dollars building these big, beautiful, wonderful networks that everybody is so used to playing Angry Birds on, right? There was a lot more to go into that. Make a phone call or send a text message or WhatsApp, right? Billions of dollars of capital went into that. And they were all like, we don't have anything. We don't know how to do it. So I left that company and I sat around trying to figure out what to do next. Now, I could go get another job. Go be a C-level somewhere at a company. But we were getting to the point at my age where, I think I would have to say it was probably the first time in my career that I really just stopped. I was listening to the customer. I saw the problem, and I had an answer. But it wasn't. But then you get the whole imposter syndrome, all that am I
Yeah.
right? Am I right? Am I doing the right thing? So for the first time, again, in my career, I actually sat down and wrote a thesis. I
Nice.
said, this is what my company needs to do. This is what my company needs to be. This is what the culture needs to be. This is what we need. All that. And I was blessed in my career that a lot of the people I have worked with have become titans in this industry. My former boss was the CEO of AT&T. I'm not talking about a region of all of AT&T, right? That was my former.
Right.
People would ask me, how well do I know him? I go, he would sign my expense reports. That's how close he was. I mean, this was the CEO of AT&T, retired November 2018. The last time AT&T was the number one telecom company in the world, right?
Yeah.
Then they never held that position since he left.
Yeah.
And his name is John Donovan, and he sits on the board of um, Palo Alto Networks and Lockheed Martin. I mean, this guy is a titan, and he gave me an hour of his time, which I could only imagine what that would cost.
Yeah.
And he gave me an hour, and I went through my whole thesis with him, and because I really wanted his feedback, because I knew he wasn't gonna um, hit me with kid glove questions, softballs. He was going to drill me, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Be
this is
direct.
no joke. This is serious. This is a serious conversation. And I better have all my ducks in a row. And I spent an hour with him on the phone. And I said, so what do you think? And he goes, go raise $40 million and own this space because you have something here and you won't be alone for long. Right? And that right there told me I needed to do this. Also, my biggest critic in the world, my wife, turned around to me and said, do it. This is a woman who every time I would think of a new startup idea would say, go get a job.
Yeah.
She was like, go get a job.
Yeah.
Right? This is the first time and we're together almost 30 years where she says, she said to me, go and do this.
That's
So
great.
I
So
got
that
my
probably gave
partner.
you all the fire you needed, man. When you have support from your
Yeah.
wife, you feel, and then on top of that, somebody as successful as the top dog at AT&T. I mean, heck, you had to
Yeah.
do this.
But that's exactly right. I was like, oh my God. Like, what do they say? Every now and then a blind squirrel gets a nut.
Yep.
Not only did I get the nut, I got the bag of nuts, right? So I called my co-founder and I said, hey, I got this great idea. Let's go. Would you like to do this with me? And he was like, yeah, of course. He's now my co-founder. And, we got blessed enough that we found the right head of product, right? Coming out of T-Mobile USA, ran this type of service at T-Mobile USA. He literally said when I called him up and he answered my call, where were you 3 years ago when I spent millions of dollars building this platform?
Hmm.
He came on board. We got an amazing CTO. So we started putting the right team together. But the secret when you're doing a startup, and this is where I think a lot of subs make a mistake. You gotta find the right people. And the minute you hire somebody who's not because they interviewed well or they had maybe the right pedigree, but if they don't gel with the organization or they don't fit, like if
The
that
culture.
puzzle piece is that
Yeah.
cut bait and move on. Just
Great.
immediately cut bait because you don't have the luxury of bringing someone along, especially in the beginning, right? And I
Hmm.
think that's a corporate culture we keep even today, as we now at 30 employees. We're 19 months old, right? Wait, hold on,
Oh,
no,
wow. That's
right?
awesome.
No, we're 21 months old, right? We'll be officially 2 years February 2nd, right? So whatever that is, do the math. All right, so
Yeah.
we're at 30 employees, right? So you got to be, but even today we keep that mantra, right? If they're not the right fit, just cut bait, move on, because people can interview well. Some people are
Oh,
professional
100%.
interviewers, and the thing is, it's not fair to them. See, people think that it may not that maybe you're being, I don't know, heartless or you're not caring. It has nothing to do. It's not fair to them. They won't be successful, and
Yeah.
then in turn, you won't be successful. So we have a mantra: cut bait immediately. You have to be part, not fit that culture. We have both great individuals from all walks of life, different backgrounds, which is extremely exciting because they bring their own unique touch to what we have created here.
Yeah,
Um,
and you're doing it right, Eddie. It seems like, I mean, man, to have that type of success and that type of growth in just 2 years, 30 employees, you got to have the right culture, right?
yeah,
Do
yeah.
you guys run EOS by chance?
I'm
Do you know what
sorry.
EOS, do you know what EOS is?
What do you mean?
It's the entrepreneur's operating system. So,
Oh.
yeah, if you don't know
No,
about it, check it
this
out.
is this is 30 years of God. I wish I was the boss here. That guy's a moron. Experience, right? You know, um, it's more we're all driven. We're all driven and driving in the same direction. I am a huge fan of OKRs. I am a
Mhm.
huge fan of empowering the employees. I can have a developer, low
Yeah,
level, intern developer, tell me no. They have that ability and the authority to tell me no,
yeah,
right? Because we follow OKRs to the letter, right?
mhm.
Um, we and we're truly driven by them to give them the ability to do that because I may go to a trade show, come back with a great idea. Hey, we should do this, right? It's a great idea. Someone needs to say, "No, Ed, you're giving me whiplash, right? We can't keep changing direction. What
Yeah,
do you, based on the OKRs, because they have a document, which one do you want me not to deliver on?
yeah.
Tell me, and I'll do that." And then it keeps everybody, and especially in the senior management organization, from losing focus and losing direction of the company. So that's how we really kind of manage the company. We manage it from both the OKRs, the guiding principles of what we're going to do for not only the whole year, but the quarter or the week or the
Yeah.
day. Right? We
No,
have specific deliverables.
no, that's great, Eddie. I mean, it sounds like you've definitely built like a good foundation with the company, right? So, tell us exactly, what Shush does and like what's your typical customer, what's your ideal customer?
Yeah. All right. So what Swish does is we enable mobile network operators to expose their customer data for the prevention of fraud. So today, you may log into an app on your phone and
Mhm.
your banking app, and you get a 6-digit code. All right.
Yeah,
That's OTP or two-factor authentication or one-time passwords,
and
however you want to
everybody, it
call it.
seems like everybody uses that nowadays.
Everybody's using that. Now the problem with that is you can spoof it. There's massive frauds on it. It's just it's right. SMS was never designed for security, and I
Yeah.
know that because I was there in the beginning. But what happened was we used to have these little dongles, right? They used to keep next to your computer, and it would give you a rotating one-time password, and you would be able to log into your corporate applications. But we kept losing them, and those at $125 a dongle, right? Everybody carried a mobile phone, and in their infinite wisdom, they decided to send those one-time passwords
Yeah.
via SMS because at the time, SMS was a lot more secure than what it is today. All that's changing. So now what's happening is you log into your bank and it talks to the mobile network the mobile, so T-Mobile, and it verifies that you're in possession of that device based on your network attributes, your phone number, the IP address that you're using for your device. All that information is matched, and it gets a
Mhm.
good and it gets a better understanding that you're in possession of your device. Okay,
So does it automatically like do that? And like,
automatically logs you in.
so like me, if I'm
You
logging into my bank, I don't even have to do anything. It just
you don't
verifies.
have to do anything. Log in, name and password, and it validates you off the network,
I like it because it makes
which
life easier.
massively. So
Yeah.
it changes. You don't have to go to the app. I mean, you don't have to go to messaging. You don't have to, click the button. You don't have to do anything. You just log in normally. That's
Yeah.
number one. Then you could do. Did I do a SIM swap? Right, but like I'm about to wire $10,000 out of my bank. Right,
Mhm.
the bank might want to check if I've done a SIM swap because there's nothing stopping a person from stealing your device or maybe getting your code. Now the next thing is, did they steal your SIM or did they impersonate you at the local, at your mobile network carrier store and swap
Mhm.
out your SIM, right? Utilizing, different ways of convincing the customer care rep on the other side of the phone or in person, that I'm Eddie DeCurtis, right? And you're really not. So the bank can automatically do a SIM swap check against the mobile network and against your mobile phone number. And there may be valid reasons, right? You got a new phone, right?
Yeah.
But the bank could or the fintech at that point could, just say, hey, give us a call, right? There's a big fraud use case where I'll call you up and I'll say, hey, it's Bank of America. I'm going to send you a code. Tell me what it is. Before you do that, the bank can actually check to see if you're in the call, right? If you're in an in-call state, right? And just not allow the transaction to take place, right? So there's all these different attributes you can use. Now, the GSMA, the global industry, has a standard called Chimera. So what we have done is we created a platform that supports all the APIs that are in market today, as well as the GSMA standards called Chimera, and we provide a full managed SaaS solution to the mobile network operators around the world. There's a little over 1,000. About 35 of them offer this type of a service. There's still 960 plus that don't, and those are our customers. So we go to them and we say, okay, you have a choice. You can go spend millions of dollars with likes of Ericsson, Nokia, the big OEMs, or you can partner with Sush at no risk, no cost to you, a best-in-class platform. I have zero issue competing with any of my competitors out there. I will win this hands down because we've been the first in a lot of the solutions because we're nimble. We could do certain things. We support not only there's 10 stable Chimera APIs from the GSMA, we support 8 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
More than anybody else. We have 39 additional APIs. Plus, the newest version of authentication is utilizing the SIM card. And that can get very technical, but I won't.
Yeah.
So we were the first company to ever support that in production in a live environment for a live mobile network operator. No one else has done that. We were the first to do that. But by having such an amazing team that allows us to be very nimble, very, very quick, being a managed SaaS type solution, we lean into the security requirements for a mobile network operation, right? Because there's very, very intense security. So we lean into that. There's specific privacy rules and legal rules and regulatory rules, which again, we lean into and we follow those rules to the letter. So we're an extension of the mobile network operator as their partner in this. And again, at no cost to the mobile network operator, because we do it on a rev share with them. And we say, if you're successful, we'll be successful. Because the days of just writing big billion-dollar checks to big companies are over, right? Mm-hmm. So that's our business in a nutshell. And it's been, again, I pinch myself on how successful we have been over the last 20 somewhat months. It's just been an incredible journey.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Congratulations. It sounds like you guys have a real good thing going here. So real quick, Eddie, what, like, out of those 1,000 people, like potential customers that you could target, like, what are some examples of like the bigger companies that you're going after or would like to go after?
It could be anything from like an AT&T wireless, right? Yeah. Or
a bank.
No, that's the beauty. So a lot of my competitors work both sides of the fence. Mm-hmm. The problem, then now you're competing with the mobile network operator. That's the problem. Everybody wants to compete with them. Well, those days, I don't compete with the mobile network operator. I didn't spend the billions of dollars building a network to then go compete with my vendor, right?
Got it.
So we only work with mobile network operators. Now we help them bring on the banks and the fintechs and all that. We're there to help them, but we don't compete. We don't sell to them.
Yeah.
So it's
the carriers basically.
Exactly. So what we do is that you could have a small ABC wireless in some small area, right? That's our customer, as well as let's say an AT&T wireless will be our customer. And we
Got it.
have customers all over the world. So we have customers in the United States, we have customers in Asia, we have customers in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. So it's pretty targeted, right? Because if you gotta, get the business from 1,000 people, I mean, it's pretty targeted. It may be a little bit challenging, right? Because
It's always challenging. It's
yeah.
always challenging. The
Anytime you're trying to
day,
close business is always challenging, but
yeah.
um,
Well, here's what happened. Back in the when wireless first came out, when I started in this crazy business, these wireless carriers were cowboys, right? They were entrepreneurs. They were
yeah,
out of their minds. They would do things that were really kind of gray, right? But they were willing to take risks. Now they're real companies. These are
yeah,
multi-billion-dollar organizations. So
hmm
they tend to they're at the stage where if it's too, they don't like taking risks. They want to overanalyze. I'm like, I can't make this any easier. What part of free don't you understand? So
hmm
that's kind of you're dealing with these big, huge corporations now that again have a capex budget of countries, right? And you just have to work through that. But you're right; it's completely targeted. It's funny. I get emails all the time. Hey, we can get you to all these different companies. I'm like, I only have to call 960 different companies, right? So
yeah.
I'm okay. I don't need any help.
Yeah, and your goal, Eddie, with the company is, I mean, do you have obviously it sounded like in the beginning you wrote down a thesis and the goal. So like,
Mhm.
we were talking earlier before the podcast started, and I think you said that, you were looking to exit. Do you have an exit plan?
Do I right now? No,
Or
but
maybe just a
everybody dreams.
timeline. Maybe
Yeah,
too early,
everybody.
right?
It's early. It's early. Two, we're having a lot of fun. I'm not ready. I'm not
Yeah.
ready to retire. Right.
Yeah,
I have accomplishments that I want to achieve. Right. So,
yeah,
but I mean, listen, an exit or an equity event would be absolutely amazing.
yeah,
Knock on wood. That's a decision I have to make. Right.
yeah,
But again, if I exit, I'm retiring.
yeah, yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
a lot of, our listeners, are all about, right? Exiting their companies and then, taking a break, right? Not necessarily being an operator and then figuring out a way of still having passive income,
Mhm.
even after they've been successful.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts in general about passive income and,
I think if you can sit, there is nothing better than when you just go to the mailbox and pick up a check, right?
yeah, yeah,
You get back from your golf game, get back from playing with your grandkids, walking your dog, and you open your mailbox. Oh, there's a check. Thank you very much.
yeah,
Those are the best kind. Those are the best kind of jobs, right? So passive income to me, I always think is very very important. And even today, I look at my life, and what's next. Yeah, I want to have a passive income if we're blessed enough that we have an exit and stuff. Putting together a family office, doing sort like we were
yeah,
talking earlier, about multifamily
yeah,
property, right? I said what I say. I said I want to have an apartment complex next to a university, right?
yeah.
Stuff
Student
like
housing,
that,
man. It's a good play.
right? I think, yeah, but I think passive income is a huge opportunity because who knows the market fluctuates left and right, right? The
Yeah,
market,
100%.
oh, um, s- sometimes you sit there and you say, when you look at the stock market, you go, did I have a better shot of putting it on black, or red, right? You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
know, what Jordan Belfort said it the best, right? The guy from the Wolf of Wall Street.
hmm
Nobody's a market maker, right? There's
Yeah.
one guy, Ray Dalio. Out of all the people, you can't pay. You can just throw dots at a stock listings, right? You
Yeah.
know, so I think having passive income, that's why it's called real property, real estate. It's real,
Yeah.
there's always an intrinsic value there, right? You
100%.
want to buy low and, hopefully make money over the long term, of course. But,
100%.
but passive income, especially like, listen, I'm 57. I still don't believe Social Security is going to be there, right? When I retire.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Definitely can't depend on the government, man. That's for
you
sure.
no, you never depend on the government, and
Yeah.
that and if you, I think what do they say? If you look at all like most of like really, really, I mean, people that are really wealthy. I'm talking about not have a lot of money. There's a difference between money and wealth. The people who have like wealth,
Mhm.
those are real estate owners, right?
Yeah,
Those are guys who
100%.
own
Yeah.
buildings,
Yeah. The real
right?
estate business has created more millionaires than any
Yeah,
industry, over the last, I don't even know what the stat is, ever, right?
yeah.
But, it's definitely great. We love what we
But you
do
ever
on our
notice? You
side.
ever notice? You hit it big in technology, you buy a big place, or you buy real estate, right? You're
100%.
always buying real estate, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we have a lot of tech guys that come or in the engineering space that come and try to dabble with us in the multifamily space, and they like it
Yeah,
because everybody knows, right? They try to make money in their industry, then they go try to make some passive income in apartments or whatever it may
exactly.
be. So
Passive income is huge for long-term wealth building.
yeah,
It's the only way you're going to do it is passive income. You may potentially do it in the market, but you talk to any real financial planner, like
yeah,
especially if you're a high net worth individual, they're like real estate, real
yeah,
estate, real
100%.
estate. The one that scares me the only thing that really kind of scares me in real estate, even though it's still big money, is corporate, corporate real estate,
Yeah,
office space and stuff like that.
yeah,
I mean, you build a big building. I mean, there was a building in Dallas that sold for $320 million, and then 2 years later went for like $3 million.
yeah.
You, you
Yeah, you
know,
never know. It's all market strides. If you said like right after COVID, like, hey, let's get in the office space, it'd probably be a bad idea, right? Office
yeah,
work.
yeah, exactly.
So, you
But
just
if
have
you,
to,
but
that's the
people need
way.
places to live. People need places to live.
People always need places to live, right? And as
Yeah.
things are, more expensive right now, like gas has gone down, but groceries are still expensive. So we're still seeing a lot of need, especially in the apartment space where people want to live. So
Hmm.
but I agree, man. Passive income is great. We'll be rooting for you, man. Hopefully you can exit here in the next, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 years. Who knows? Sometimes these things blow up.
Yeah.
You
Your
know,
mouth to God's ears.
yeah. So we'll be rooting for you. But Eddie,
Thank
appreciate your
you.
time today, man. So if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to reach out to you? Do they visit your
All right.
website, your email?
The best way to reach out to me is on LinkedIn. I am a LinkedIn maniac. I use it more than I use it more than I use Facebook.
Yeah.
It's my name. It's my name, Eddie DeCurtis. Look up Sush. We can go to the Sush website. But yeah, you can find me. I'm always on LinkedIn.
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, easy enough. I mean, obviously LinkedIn and social media is great. But man, we appreciate your time today. I think today was awesome. I mean, you're definitely creating a whole lot of value for, just like even the end user. I mean, hell, if I don't have to put in those codes all the time, I
Yeah,
feel like I'm doing that
but it's
all day,
also more
every day.
secure. It's also more
Yeah.
secure.
Well, and security, right? That's really the
Yeah,
most
it's
important
all
thing, right? Where
about it.
you're
It's all
logging
about
into your
security.
bank. I mean, there's a ton of things that we're always doing nowadays, and everything is so on the mobile phone.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, here's just before I let you go, real quick.
yeah.
So the governments around the world are limiting social media use to 16 and above. Do you know any kid who uses a computer for TikTok?
No.
Exactly. So where are you going to get the age from? The mobile network operator.
100%. Yeah, nowadays, man, I mean, the younger generation, it's all about TikTok
Mm-hmm.
and YouTube. They want to be
Right.
YouTube and TikTok millionaires. So it's
No, well, I wish them the best. Sometimes
yeah.
it's crazy, but
Well, they
yeah.
got a
No,
lot
I'm
more
with you.
opportunity than you and I definitely.
No, well, I hope they use it wisely.
Yeah, 100%. Well, sounds good, Eddie. Appreciate your time today, man. Let's stay on for a couple minutes if
Yeah.
you don't mind right after.
No,
And
no.
thanks for you know uh, providing your knowledge and a little bit about your business today. And I'm pretty sure that you've elevated the game for a few of our listeners here today. This is really cool stuff. I didn't even know
Thank you.
that this was in the
Yeah.
works in the background, and it's amazing what other business owners and entrepreneurs are doing. While you're in your own little world, right? So really cool to have you on here, Eddie. Appreciate your time, man.
I appreciate you. Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you.
Thanks for listening to Elevate the Game. If you're a mover and shaker in DFW with game to share, apply to be a guest at elevatethegamepodcast.com/guest.